Greetings, Diocese of Olympia. What you're about to see comes from a very inspiring meeting I had with a man named Arsalan Bukhari, who's the Executive Director of CAIR, C-A-I-R Washington. CAIR stands for the Council on American Islamic Relations. This council works basically to promote understanding, to fight bigotry that happens to Muslims in this world, and to work for their civil rights in our society. Promoting understanding between Christians and Muslims was the part that inspired me as I met with Arsalan. And I asked him this simple question: what can we, your Christian neighbors, do to most help you as you work to assimilate into this society, to teach us and for us to also be your advocates?
There's plenty of opportunities for Christians, both lay persons and leaders, to connect with mosques and congregations across the state. So from MAPS in Redmond to the Islamic Center of Tri-Cities in Richland, from the Zainab Center up in Linwood all the way down to the Islamic Center of Olympia. There are about 50 mosques in our state, and many of them do engage in interfaith projects, interfaith dialogues, and we're happy to connect people. They can email us at info@cairseattle.org, or they can call us at 206-367-4081. We're happy to connect them.
Can you give me an example of where you've seen a really good model for building relationships between Christians and Muslims?
The best model we have seen so far is when leaders come forward and recognize that we are just one nation, and that sort of sets the tone for the public. As far as specifics, I remember in 2010 there was a conference called Confronting Islamophobia.
Right.
It kicked off relationships that exist to this very day.
Yeah, right.
And so having those events that are intentionally put together.
If a Christian was watching this and said, I've changed, I want to learn more, I want to understand, what would you say maybe the first thing they ought to do?
ing.org/FAQ has easy to understand responses to frequently asked questions about Muslims. That's a starting point.
Great.
Contact our office. We're happy to connect them with mosques and other places for relationship building. Right now is a time in our nation's history where everyday Americans who happen to be Muslim or who look Muslim are going through some trials and travails. We've seen hate crimes rise in just this year. We're seeing a lot of heated rhetoric. Everyone has a role to play in responding to it. The average person can respond by sending letters to editors, can send op-eds, talk about the lives and contributions of the Muslims that you know, and talk about American values of religious freedom and inclusiveness. They believe in the same traditional family values to raise their children in a wholesome environment. American Muslims are our neighbors. They could be many of your doctors and your nurses and your public school teachers. 10,000 Muslims are in the U.S. military. So those are the messages that people should be hearing when they turn on the TV and open the newspaper.
So if somebody says, I want to understand more about Islam, I want to start learning,
there's nothing better than sitting down with your Muslim neighbor.
Yeah.
And so I think they can contact mosques by finding a local mosque close to them. They can go to islamicfinder.org. Pretty much any weeknight there'll be kids classes happening, there'll be families hanging out. Mosques are not members only. And so we really encourage people to just walk into a mosque, introduce yourself, say hi, meet your neighbors.
I hope what comes out of this video for Episcopalians in Western Washington, for Christians, is that we do more of that. We have many more conversations, and more than anything else, to build relationships and get to know one another. To live out that call we have in the Bible and from Jesus to love our neighbors. This is just part of that.